40 years ago, a devastating tornado blew through West Bloomfield, destroying almost everything in its path. Over the weekend, former and current residents of the township gathered together at the Orchard Lake Museum to recollect on their past experiences.
My first thought was that we had been bombed because our house was just a pile of rubble.
I don't want to ever see this kind of damage again, especially in my own neighborhood.
And everything hit at 7:14 on Saturday night. The clock stopped, and we had an eerie silence.
I said, please come in and get my daughter. He said, I can't come in, there's live wires everywhere.
March 20th, 1976, is a day that West Bloomfield residents will never forget. It's the day that a Class F4 tornado blew through their township, destroying over 4 miles of property and causing at least $50 million in damage. It injured dozens of individuals and even took the lives of others. Yet as horrific as this tornado was, West Bloomfield's residents are still gathering together, even 40 years later, trying to piece together all that happened through their shared memories.
It was extremely warm.
Yeah, it was an unusually warm
We were
day.
out there just, playing around. This coloring was really kind of bizarre. It was almost like an orange. And I think almost just remember there was no dogs or any animals around at all. It was very eerily quiet.
And it took a while for the sirens to hit. And then word started coming through as far as where the tornado hit. And the cars and buses and things being flipped. And many of the places that existed at the time no longer are with us.
While the destruction from the tornado was quick, the reactions of the residents were quicker, which ended up saving numerous lives.
My daughter heard a lot of noise, like a tree said it sounded like a train, and she said we should get down on the floor. She was 17, and I said, okay, I'll humor her, I'll get down on the floor. Well, it's a good thing because all that glass came in.
It seemed like an eternity, but it was probably just a matter of seconds. And when it was over, I was able to sit up, my mother was able to sit up, and I could see my leg was crushed, and I thought, oh. But my daughter was just clinging to our chest. We had her under our chest.
Everyone's experience was different, as the disaster affected each individual in different ways, with emotions ranging from fear to fascination.
And the funny thing is, I don't recall it as being a very scary event. It was so quick. I was a little kid and almost sort of fascinating, so.
I avoid all bad weather. I call everyone I know to go to the basement. So I'm very strict with my children on where are you right now. It's changed my life quite a bit.
No, and it's weird because before that happened, I was always afraid of storms and wind, and now I don't have that fear anymore. It's like I realized there's nothing you can do about it but to keep yourself safe. So now I'm not quite so panicked.
Fortunately, Township Supervisor Michelle Economo-Uresti has been hard at work trying to help prepare emergency services in case such an event ever happens again.
These important emergency response planning efforts have been a priority over the last 6 months because it is the feeling at the county and at the township that we are overdue for a catastrophic event and that we have to be prepared. And so we're addressing, we have an internal committee comprised of the police chief, fire chief, project management analyst in the building department, and myself that are dedicating a lot of time to this.
Although 40 years have passed since then, the township of West Bloomfield has far from forgotten its history, and what may have been a natural disaster threatening to tear them apart has in reality only brought them closer together.